Giselle and Bob Jarvis were married in 1958. 2 years later, Bob was working with his dad to fix a fence when he got an offer that he refused at first.
This guy comes along and he says, I need a hired man. I said, I'm doing just fine logging. I says, next time I go on a farm, I said, it's going to be mine. And we took off. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he comes back. He says, I'll sell you the farm. I says, I don't have a nickel. And he said, well, let's go look at it. So we came up here and looked at it. It's, you know, I says, ain't bad. So we went down and see an attorney, and we rolled up a contract, a sales contract. And that's how I bought the farm. Then I had to go home and tell my wife that I bought a farm. So things don't happen like that anymore, you know.
The Jarvises started out with 1 barn, 35 cows, and just the 2 of them to keep it going. Now there are 2 farms, over 3,000 cows, and Bob and Giselle are far from on their own anymore. Of the couple's 15 children, 12 work on the farm in one way or another. And now, this one-of-a-kind farm family has another distinction. They've been named the Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year for 2013.
You don't have to travel very far to any farm, and there's people doing great things at those farms. They're great people, and so it's definitely an honor, you know, that we were selected this year, but really there's a lot of farms that are doing a great job, and, you know, I think it's important just to highlight the facts of, you know, we're, yes, making a high quality product, a nutritious product, but at the same time, we're kind of looking out for the environment, and I think that Farm of the Year is an opportunity for those things to be kind of brought out and looked at, and hopefully people appreciate it a little bit.
They're great farmers in Vermont. They very well could have gone to anybody else, but to have this is it's really like proud, you know, proud for my parents to work with family. I mean, what greater thing is there in the world to be able to work and get along with your family in a farming community?
It'd be nice if the weather holds dry for a few days, we can get all that done.
With a dairy farm and a family this big, there has to be a division of labor. Clement cares for the cows. Charles repairs equipment and helps with the cropping. Larry looks after the crops as well and handles the farm's feed program. Paul takes care of the calves and young stock. Not to be outdone by their brothers, Ann and Susan started up the Boston Post Dairy in 2007, where they make cheese and soap from goat's milk. In their retail shop, they also sell maple syrup, which, you guessed it, is made by another Jarvis, their brother Gabe. The Jarvis family farm is one of the largest dairy farms in Vermont, but big isn't what makes this farm one of the best.
To be frank, we're good at what we do. There's somebody going to be producing milk in the country. There's always going to be somebody doing it. So how do you want to, if you want to be one of those people, how are you going to do that? Well, you've got to be darn good at it, and you've got to be the top 25% or top 10%. So in other words, you want to do it the best that you can, but always better. You never, oh, I'm good enough, I'm not going to worry about that anymore. You've always got to keep improving it. Because if you're doing the top, you know, top 10% in your industry, you're going to stay in. And it's kind of also rewarding when you do make that, you know, and it's just an internal goals you're setting, and when you achieve those, it keeps you motivated too.
Having a high-quality product leads to a farm's success, but it doesn't define it. What has made the Jarvis family leaders in the Vermont dairy industry for over 50 years is their willingness to innovate.
I wasn't afraid to change. We tried different things. If something came up that was, you know, different, like when I built the freestall in '72, there were very few freestalls. They were saying, you're not going to make it, the cows aren't going to like this. I went all the way, you know, I put in a milking parlor back in, I put in a manure pit back in, which there are very few of them. I had trouble buying equipment to agitate the pit with, you know. So you have to take a chance, and that helped us a great deal.
Like father, like sons. In 2009, the Jarvises installed a methane digester as part of Green Mountain Power's Cow Power program. It worked so well, they added a second generator in 2012. The electricity the engines generate goes out to the grid to light and heat homes that participate in the Cow Power program. Along with creating energy for their fellow Vermonters, the Jarvises benefit from the dry matter created by the digesting process. It's used as bedding, which saves the farm thousands.
It was offsetting our purchased sawdust of, we were going through almost 2 loads a week at $2,000 a load. So we were going through like $4,000 of sawdust a week. And this has reduced that about 80%. So the money added up in a hurry. You're talking $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a month that we were saving just on using this bedding. So that was a real first, payback from it.
Another innovative manure management tool the Jarvises use is a dragline spreader. It's a $250,000 investment in a technology that's fairly new to Vermont. Manure is pumped out of a pit and gets either injected into the ground or spread close to the ground. This technique saves fuel and time, cuts down on the smell, and allows nutrients to incorporate into the ground faster, which helps lessen runoff.
Well, I think a lot of it just goes back to what's the right thing. Well, when you're looking at the land and the environment, you're trying to do the right thing there too. But in the end, it's all going to pencil out too. You got to be able to afford to do it and then be profitable doing it. It's not always the easy thing either, and there's challenges. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would be already doing it. It's the reason we're doing it is for the environment, for the crops, and in the end, to do a better job at what we're doing.
This drive to constantly and consistently improve every aspect of their business was one of the deciding factors in the Jarvis family farm winning the Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year award.
So at 2 o'clock, I've got somebody coming in for a meeting this afternoon.
All right.
Okay.
University of Vermont Extension Farm Management Specialist Tony Kitsos oversees the Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year Award program.
This farm rose to the top in my mind with that commitment to success, future, progressive dairying, and bringing in the most new and innovative techniques for agronomy, I think, that really separated them. They use dragline techniques for spreading their manure injection in the spring. They use aerial cover crop seeding in the fall. And those are things that not only can be used by large farms, but small farms as well. So it's not necessarily the size of their farm that made them the winners, but it's their commitment and willingness to use this new technology. This particular farm, the Jarvis farm, was a great example of family commitment to agriculture and that sort of synergy that takes place that enabled them to use new and innovative techniques and some value-added component to their operation this year as well.
The Boston Post Dairy is affectionately referred to by the Jarvises as the girls' farm. It's run all in the family, of course, but it operates independently from the main farm, which is only a couple miles away. The girls, Susan and Ann, milk a few cows, but mostly goats, to create award-winning cheeses.
We make a lot of different chefs in different flavors, but our most popular cheese is our 11 Brothers, named after our 11 brothers, because it was a lot of work, and having 11 brothers was a lot of work too. But they all turned out fine, so that's why we decided to name that 11 Brothers. And then we do Gouda-style Très Bon cheese, and we do feta, we do a Bon Père, which is a goat and cow milk, and we do Giselle, which is named after our mother, which is a Swiss style, finished with apple cider.
3 cheeses produced by the Boston Post Dairy were awarded ribbons for 2013 by the American Cheese Society, including the 11 Brothers cheese, which won a first-place ribbon. Like her brothers, Ann equates any success, big or small, to one word: family.
We all work well together. We have, and sure, we have disagreements, but we settle them, we don't go on with them. But your family, who wouldn't want to work with family? Well, we want to work with family. Put it that way.
Makes you proud. Makes you proud. But it's not just me. It's a family, and especially proud for my father. He and my mother both. They've done a good job raising their family, and it's kind of a pat on the back for them, really.
Perhaps the best way to describe and honor the Jarvis family farm is with a Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. One farm, one family.
I know the perception is it's a large farm, but we're a large family, so to me it's, you know, a bunch of small farms put together. To us, growing up into it, you know, we don't see it as a large farm. It's just a family farm to us.
What do you want to call it? You know? Yeah, we got 4 or 5 families here, but I mean, it's still family farm. It's family owned, and so, you know, it's, I don't know what else you could call it.
How about calling it what it is? The 2013 Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year. In Bakersfield, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.